G'day, welcome back to another episode of TOGL. Well, it's been cold as I said last week, and I need to check these beehives and make sure that they've got enough food to get them through winter. Now these two hives, they came from out at Devonport. You might recall a while back I went and rescued a swarm from over in Devonport, but I wasn't able to take the bees away. And the reason was we had a small hive beetle incursion in Tassie, and Department of Primary Industries, I think it was, put a lockdown zone, and these were within the lockdown zone. Well, they've never found any more of the hive beetle, so that's good, but it also meant that I was able to then bring these hives back up here to the block. So I did that the other week. I'm just going to gear up. There's no activity happening at the moment because it is still cold, but at the moment it's still, the sun's shining down. It's the best opportunity to have a look, because you definitely don't want to be opening it up when it's cold and windy or cold and rainy. So yeah, we're just going to take a quick look and we'll see if they've got some honey in there that's going to get them through winter. So first up, I'll give them a quick smoke, let them know something's going on, and then we'll get geared up. Alright, all geared up. Let's take a look. This first one's looking quite healthy. We can see that the centre, there are some, there's honey down in there. We'll pull one of these out and have a look. We also have a bit of mould there as well. That mould's not good. This mould here, that's very bad. And I got a feeling that maybe there's no bees left in here. So, because there's no bees coming out yet. Okay, the first thing that strikes me here is that there's no bees coming out. That's not good. I was a little worried about this one. Now there is honey here, beautiful amounts of honey, but there's also a little bit of mould. That mould indicates to me that the bees aren't here, so maybe the cold has killed them, which is unusual because well, they've got food, so let's have a look. Yeah, there's no bee activity here at all. Just a few dead bees. Got lots of honey still, which... So they didn't die. They didn't die because of lack of food, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Maybe the queen died, which would be an indication. So but what it means is I'm going to have to take all the honey out of this, and there's a lot of honey. So not a bad thing about that, but it's a shame that we've lost this colony. All right, let's check this one. I know there's still bees in there. This, by the way, is what they call a queen excluder. So the bees can get through it, but the queen bee can't. When I had that sitting there, it means that only bees could come up here and put honey, but only bees could, but the queen couldn't come up here and lay eggs. It keeps the brood down lower. Right, so this top box, it's empty, so I'm going to remove that. They don't need that extra space up there. That space that heat is just going to flow up into. We don't want that, so that can stay off. But here I'm seeing lots of honey. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful frame of honey. Absolutely marvellous. And every single one of these 8 frames is like that. There's a couple of kilos of honey on each one of those frames. No problem at all there. So we'll just double check this next one, see what's happening down here. Oh, that is so heavy. Okay. Now, one thing not so good here is that these guys have started making comb on this back wall. That comb there, that's not good. That's going to need a good clean up, but I'm not going to do it now. So that looks like that's all full of honey as well. And this feels like another very heavy box. And I got a feeling I forgot to put frames in the bottom box here. This was right at the start, which means they've built comb hanging underneath these top frames, and that's going to make life very awkward. Let's have a quick look there. So you can see there, those beautiful combs were hanging down, but I didn't have a frame there, which means I can't pull each one out. That's something I'm going to need to sort out in the summertime. I don't want to disturb them right now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get this put back together and leave these guys. This is a really strong hive. Okay, so one good hive, one dead hive, heaps of honey in both. So I will take all the honey out of the dead hive. There's no bees there anyway. I need to get onto that now. I'm glad I checked, or all that honey would have been wasted as well. And yeah, we'll get this one sealed up, and I'll have to go and check the other ones in another hour or two when we get a bit more sun and it gets a bit warmer down the bottom, because the other hives are down on the bottom part of the block. Yesterday afternoon at 3 p.m, the dam was actually frozen over. And the dam is still a bit frozen over this morning. So I just thought I'd come down and do a quick film of it. Check out this container of water in the veggie patch. Well, because I've been doing so much milling lately, I thought I'd do another quick run through on the timber mill. It's a hardwood mills, so it's Australian Timber Hardwood Mills mill, bought from hardwoodmills.com.au. Fantastic mill. I've been really happy with it. Now, before I get started today, what I need to do is sharpen the bandsaw blade. So I thought I'd give you a quick show of that, because I don't think I've shown that in a few years actually. So this is the system that I use for sharpening the timber mill blades. So this is the little machine that sharpens the blade. So you can see that the blade sits out on these arms, and basically what we do is we just advance it forwards and then sharpen the tooth. Advance it forward, sharpen the tooth. So I'll show you a little bit of that. I've got to have the generator running to get the power, and then obviously this is noisy as well, so it'll be very noisy, but I will just show you how I sharpen this blade. It's quite a simple process, but with 200 odd teeth, it does take me probably 10 minutes to get through. Okay, well, that blade is in a really bad way. After hitting that metal upright last week, I didn't realise how much damage it had actually done, considering it was still cutting as well as it is. I'm really surprised it's cutting as well as it is, because it's a tungsten tipped carbide blade. So each tooth of the saw blade has a tiny little tungsten tip on it. And I reckon 2/3 of those tips have been snapped off, they're gone. So yeah, it's really only running at like a third capacity. So yeah, I'm surprised it's cutting as well as it is, but I'm definitely going to have to order a new blade because that one's definitely on its last legs. Anyway, so now, fitting the blade. So always take the blade off when we're not using it. We don't want to keep that blade under pressure. It was one of the mistakes I had made in the past, and was snapping blades because of it. And at 220 bucks a blade for the tungsten carbide ones, you don't want to snap them too often. So we just simply get our blade here, and I always start over on the far side first. So just pop that up in under there, and just fit it over that one. Like that. Just make sure it's sitting on there properly. Through that guide. No wonder my glasses are always getting scratched. Come over to this side, through that guide there, and over this pulley wheel. Now you may notice that there's slack in that fan belt. It's supposed to be like that. It actually stops the sawdust building up underneath it, because as it spins around, obviously it closes in up here, but then it opens up here and the sawdust comes back out. Otherwise you do get a build up of sawdust, and that would snap your blade as well. Now one of the things I've got to do is, on the back of this wheel there is a lip. Not on this one, but on this one there's a metal lip at the back. That blade does not sit against that lip. If it does, it gets hot, and the back gets hotter than the front. You get the difference in temperatures, and that can snap a blade. So about a credit card thickness between the blade and the back part you want to make sure that you've got there. Over on this side, I just simply feel on the back, make sure that it's flush. Make sure everything's in the guides and everything's looking okay. And then we need to set the tension. So I have a big handle here to turn, and as I turn that, it pulls this wheel back and puts tension on. Now I need 30 foot-pounds of pressure on this blade. Not enough, the blade will flex, you'll get a crooked cut. Too much, snap the blade. So many things will snap the blade. So I've got a tension wrench, and I'll show you how I set that. So we've got Newton meters and we've got foot-pounds. So we want foot-pounds, and we want 30 foot-pounds. So we line the 0 up with that center line. So there's 10, there's 20, and there's 30 pounds. And then when we got that, we just have to tighten off the lock the end off, and then there's a nut right here on the end, so we can pop that on there, and we just do the final tensioning with this socket and the tension wrench. And we're listening for a click, a single click on the downstroke. Like that. And we know that we're set to 30 pounds. You always take the tension back off. Same as with your fishing reels. You never leave them under tension. You leave that loose. Otherwise you damage the springs. Okay, so now that we've got the blade on and set to the right tension, the next thing we need to do is adjust our guide. Now that's done by, there's two taps here. So we just undo these, and then we can slide this in and out. So we slide that out so it's just outside of where the log is, and then tighten them back up. So that's set ready now. Blade set ready. Next thing we've got to do is get our water set. So on the side here we have the water jerry. I'm going to need to top this up very soon. Now when it comes with this little tap that you have to turn it on and off. So it takes a bit to spin it all the way out and spin it all the way back in, and then this inner nut is so that you can lock it off if you want to. Well, I decided to make a modification just recently, and I've actually put a fuel tap, like a fuel line tap in. So now all I need to do, that's full flow, half flow, turn off. So much simpler. So yeah, adding this was a fantastic idea, I reckon, and makes life a hell of a lot easier. So you've got to have good water flow though. Now the water itself, it's not just straight water. You have to have a liquid detergent into it, a liquid detergent. So the one that I tend to use is the good old palm olive, green, and you put a lot in. You want your water to look like lime cordial. The reason you want this in is because when you're cutting through the tree, the sap will stick to the blade and it will build up on the blade and get tacky. But at least if you've got the liquid soap in there, it helps lubricate, and it also helps to break down that sap as well, so that you don't gum up the blade. So lots of water flow helps keep the blade cool, and helps keep the blade lubricated, and helps keep the blade clean. So that's another thing. If you don't do that, again, you'll snap a blade. All right, so now that we've got that done, we just need to get her started. Choke on. I don't go straight into it either, because I want to make sure that blade's not going to jump off. If the wheels aren't correct, it'll jump off. Now I know that I've set this many times and it's going to be fine at the moment. But every time you change to a different blade, a new blade, even if it's the same model, you just got to double check. So So at the end of every session, we give this a really good clean up with compressed air. It's great having that compressor. That works fantastically. And then I just get some WD-40, and especially where these two bearings are, because a lot of water goes over this, we just give that a little hit with some WD-40, and just makes sure that it displaces any water and doesn't corrode. So yeah, I just like to get that done. Touch up a few little parts like that. So yeah, overall very, very happy with this mill. Honestly, it's the best 10 grand I've ever spent. It's the most fun toy, and it's so practical as well. So just very recently I had to replace these rollers. I didn't realize that that one had actually fallen off. It was gone. It obviously dropped into the sawdust, and when I've shoveled all the sawdust out, I haven't noticed. I never even considered that it would fall off, which I should have been doing. This one though, this one actually came apart. So, and that's what I realised. We started getting some sparks shooting out because the bearing had seized up and the blade was touching it. Really bad for the blade as well. So look, they were pretty easy to replace. I just went down to one of the local bearing places and I think they were like $8 each for the bearings, and I probably spent another $10 on washers and high tensile bolts to put it back in. So, because what happens is the blade will sit in that guide, but if it gets pushed back too far, it'll just hit that roller and it just stops it moving around too much. Yeah, it's been running without a beat, like without missing a beat. I mean, it's just been, yeah, really good. Very happy with it. So it did take me a while to get the hang of it. I was doing crooked cuts and that. I didn't realize, like, as soon as you start to get some wavy cuts, it's because the blade's getting blunt. You need to sharpen the blade. It took me a while to get the tension set right and a few other things. But yeah, we've been using this now solidly for 3.5 years and it's running like a dream. So yeah, very happy with it. I would highly recommend one, and no paid promotion. It's just, yeah, they are really good, so happy to recommend them. Anyway, that blade is, I said it was shot, yeah, it's starting to cut really badly, so we're going to stop milling timber today, and we're going to go and actually chop up some firewood. We need to go stock up on our firewood. I said it's been really cold the last couple of weeks. We've just been going through so much wood because it's been so frosty down here. And you know, as soon as that sun drops behind the horizon at about 4:30 in the afternoon, you just feel that chill come straight in. Not that it really leaves throughout the day, but it really drops. By 8 o'clock at night, there's frost on the ground everywhere, and the temperature's already below zero. So yeah, we're going to go out, chop up some firewood and stock up on that. It's a beautiful day today, and I'm going to order a new blade. But I'm also going to do some filming of all of our animals around here, because my little grandniece and nephew, Charlie and Saxon, they love all the animals and stuff. So I'm going to do, 5 to 10 minutes of all the animals. So I hope you kiddies like that. And I'm sure a lot of the adults will like it too. But we'll just show you all the different animals that are around the block. Ones that we keep and also some of the wildlife. So yeah, we'll get to that after we do some wood chopping.
This is all of our silly Indian runner ducks running to the dam in the mornings.
Well, it's been pretty windy and rainy the last few days, but we've needed that rain, so glad that it's finally come through. So this will be the start of a very wet couple of months, I dare say. But as I said, I was going to do some filming of the animals around here, so let's go and film. I've just got some scraps to take down to the chickens. Those ones are all running out, but they're not getting fed right at this second. I'll give some to the roosters first, and then we'll go and feed them. All right, let's feed the roosters. Hey fellas, here you go. Now to go and feed the other ones. We had an awesome thunderstorm yesterday morning, right on dawn. Heaps of lightning and thunder. We even had fine hail, made it look like it had snowed. All right, they're crowing, they want some food. Let's go have a look at them. this is just some bit of carrot, pumpkin, lettuce, bit of apple skin. So for anyone new to the channel, these orangey red ones are quombies. They were bred here in Tasmania. Cross between a couple of other chickens, so they were developed here. So they're considered a Tasmanian heritage breed. And these other ones, they're the white English Sussex. That's the big rooster. He's the boss. Anyway, those doors have been working really well too. They're fantastic. Now, because of the rain yesterday, I didn't check the eggs, so let's go check the eggs today. I'm expecting there'll be a few. Now, they haven't been trained very well yet because they're not all laying in the nest boxes out here yet. So I've got to check inside and check the nest boxes too. So let's have a quick gander in there. Yeah, so I can see a couple on the ground. There's 4 on the ground. Got 4 eggs down here. We've got 3 eggs in there, 3 eggs in there. Looks like they've cracked one of them. We'll have to use that tonight. There's 2 there. So, yeah, they're getting the hang of it. Not a bad haul. That door keeps closing behind me. So, I'll just collect all these up and we'll go and have a look at the other ones. There's one over there. That's about it, I think. Oh no, there's more than one. There's 3 in there. Now these quombies haven't sorted it out yet. The quombies don't lay. Those are artificial eggs in there, fake eggs, hoping that they'll get the hang of it, get the idea that they're supposed to lay up there, but they're not. Well, that's it for another episode of TOGL. I hope you've enjoyed it and found some of it interesting. I didn't get to do any additional filming of other wildlife. It's just been way too wet. It's been raining on and off for days now, but that's what we expect, and it's going to do that for another couple of months, I dare say. It does that every other year. So yeah, Charlie and Saxon, I hope you enjoyed seeing the chickens and the puppies. And I'll see what I can bring for you next week. But anyway, until then, you guys stay safe, take care, Have yourselves a great week. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next Friday. Cheers.